Pause. Take a breath. What you are about to hear is not just a message, it is a word sent specifically for where you are right now. There is a scripture that has been misread by millions. Isaiah 40:31 says, "Those who wait upon the Lord will find their strength made new. They will soar on wings like the eagle. They will run without growing weary. They will walk and never faint." But notice what this verse does not say. It does not say those who push harder. It does not say those who force their way through. It says those who wait. And yet waiting is one of the most misunderstood actions in the entire Christian walk. We live in a generation that reads silence as abandonment. We read stillness as failure. We read delay as punishment. But heaven reads it differently. Waiting, in the language of Scripture, is not passivity. It is not weakness. Waiting is active trust. It is choosing to believe when the evidence looks contrary. It is remaining rooted when everyone around you is running. It is obeying before you understand. That is not weakness. That is one of the most powerful things a human being can do. Now, consider the eagle, because God did not choose that image by accident. Every other bird flees when a storm arrives. They dive for cover. They hide in branches. They wait for the danger to pass. But the eagle does something entirely different. The eagle reads the wind. It studies the pressure of the storm, and instead of retreating, it opens its wings and allows the very force of the wind to lift it above the storm. The eagle rises not because the storm stopped, but because the eagle learned to use what the storm brought. When God says you will rise like an eagle, He is not promising that storms will never come. He is revealing that the storms are the very mechanism He uses to take you higher. But before the eagle ever learned to fly, it was carried. In the book of Exodus, God says to His people, "I bore you on eagle's wings and brought you to myself." Before Israel ever walked in freedom, before they ever spread their own wings, they were carried. God did not wait for them to be strong enough. He carried them out. And if you are honest with yourself today, you know there were moments in your life that should have broken you. Seasons that had no logical explanation for your survival. Situations where you came out on the other side and you could not explain how. You were not that strong. You were carried. But here is something that might surprise you. The same God who carries you is also the God who makes you uncomfortable. Deuteronomy describes God like an eagle that stirs its own nest. An eagle will deliberately disturb the place where its young have settled, because comfort left unchecked becomes a cage. If the young eagle stays in the nest indefinitely, it will never discover the wings it already has. So God, in His wisdom, sometimes shakes the thing you have settled into, the job, the relationship, the routine, the place you called safe. And when the shaking comes, the enemy will try to tell you it is destruction. He will tell you God has abandoned you. He will tell you it is punishment. But could it be that it is not destruction, it is development? Could it be that the discomfort you are feeling right now is not a sign that something is ending, but a sign that something in you is finally ready? Your wings are ready. God is just making the nest uncomfortable enough for you to use them. Now, I need to speak to someone who has been praying and it feels like nothing is moving. You have been faithful, you have been obedient, and yet the answer feels distant. The breakthrough feels delayed, and doubt has started whispering that maybe heaven isn't listening. I want you to hear this clearly. Not every delay is a denial. When Daniel prayed, heaven responded immediately, but the answer took time to arrive. There was resistance in the unseen realm. The delay was not distance from God. It was a battle happening in a dimension Daniel could not see with his natural eyes. Your adversary is not random. He is strategic. He does not always attack loudly. Sometimes he works through pressure, through exhaustion, through confusion, through the slow erosion of hope. But the eagle does not descend to fight every shadow beneath it. The eagle rises. And when you are living from the place of renewed strength, the enemy's strategies lose their grip, not because you fought harder, but because you rose higher. Before we go further, if this message is touching something in your spirit right now, do one thing. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications. Every week, we release messages designed to strengthen your faith and anchor your purpose. And if this is blessing you today, share it with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life one message can turn around. Now I want to take you into one of the most sacred scenes in all of Scripture, Isaiah chapter 6. The chapter does not begin with a calling, it begins with a collapse. The verse opens with these words, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord." Uzziah was not just a king to Isaiah. He represented stability, security, a system Isaiah could rely on. And when that earthly pillar crumbled, when the thing Isaiah had trusted in was suddenly gone, his eyes were finally opened to see something greater. This is a pattern that God has never abandoned. Sometimes God allows an ending in your life not to destroy you, but to expand your vision. Sometimes the door that closes is the very thing that was blocking your view of the open heaven above you. And in that moment, Isaiah saw the Lord, high, exalted, and the whole atmosphere filled with his glory. The angels surrounding the throne were not crying, "Powerful, powerful, powerful." They were crying, "Holy, holy, holy," because holiness does something nothing else can do. Holiness reveals the distance between the Creator and the created. Holiness dismantles human pride at its root. And standing in that presence, Isaiah, a prophet, a man of God, a man of the Word, didn't feel impressive. He felt undone. He cried out, "Woe to me! I am ruined." This is the part of encounter that the modern church rarely talks about. The closer you draw to the genuine presence of God, the less you trust in your own ability. Real encounter destroys self-sufficiency. Real encounter breaks you down before it builds you up. Then heaven moved. An angel took a burning coal from the altar and touched it to Isaiah's lips, not as punishment, as purification. The fire was not sent to destroy Isaiah's voice, it was sent to prepare it. Because God does not send a compromised voice to carry a redemptive message to a broken world. And someone listening right now has been wondering why your life has felt like fire lately, why the process has been intense, why the pressure has been so consistent. Could it be that God is not punishing your voice, but preparing it? Could it be that the fire is not the end of your assignment, but the beginning of it? Then heaven asked a question, not a private question, an question that echoed across the hall of eternity. Whom shall I send? Who will go for us? Notice, God did not assign, He did not conscript, He did not force. Heaven asked, because the greatest gift God gives humanity is also the heaviest responsibility, the freedom to say yes or no. And the question that echoed through the halls of heaven in Isaiah's day is still echoing right now. Who will carry light into the dark corners of this generation? Who will stand when standing is costly? Who will go when going is inconvenient? Maybe, just maybe, the reason you are alive in this specific moment in history is because heaven has been waiting for your answer. Not the answer of a perfect person, not the answer of someone who has it all figured out, just the answer of someone who is willing. Here I am. Send me. This is the mystery that too many people miss. Jeremiah reveals that God chose you before you were ever born, before your parents named you, before your first breath. Purpose was written over your life. But Isaiah reveals that being chosen is only half the story. Being sent requires your answer. God's decision made you chosen. Your decision makes you sent. And the question that echoed through the halls of heaven in Isaiah's day is still echoing right now. Who will carry light into the dark corners of this generation? Who will stand when standing is costly? Who will go when going is inconvenient? Maybe, just maybe, the reason you are alive in this specific moment in history is because heaven has been waiting for your answer. Not the answer of a perfect person, not the answer of someone who has it all figured out, just the answer of someone who is willing. Here I am. Send me. I want to speak directly to you before this ends. You were not carried this far to be abandoned now. The seasons that felt like silence were seasons of preparation. The storms that felt like they would end you were the very winds lifting you higher. The fire that felt like destruction